we go. Meeting is now streaming live.
Ah, wonderful. Perfect. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. All right, let me see if I can just share that before we get started.
Lovely.
Wait for people to come in. I don't know where to see comments here. Oh, wait a minute, in the chat. There we go. Obviously, the comments are in the chat.
Ah.
It's a revelation. It's a revelation.
We are learning tonight, Earthlings. We are learning.
Oh gosh, all right. Well, I'm on a new platform tonight because the other one just wasn't suiting our needs. So let me just share that over to my page. Beautiful.
I can't even find it on here. It's not coming up for me at all.
On Facebook?
Yeah.
It is there.
Oh, there I am. All right. Let me go share. Share via. Oh, no, that's not it. I don't know how to do that. More options, share all page. There we go. Right, she's cooking with gas. Sorry, guys.
Now we've got all the techie stuff out of the way.
The scary stuff.
the techie stuff.
All right, ready? Greetings, Earthlings.
Oh, I've got to bring my thing up again. We are Johnita Francis and Trish Rock, your empowerment influencers.
Absolutely. We are talking about the no fluff conversations on life, empowerment, spirituality, and freedom.
And thank you for joining us if you're in our live audience, and also if you are listening from one of the podcast platforms. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we are proudly sponsored by Holistic Bliss Magazine.
We are indeed.
Hey, hey, hey. Here we are again, episode 15.
Yeah, 15 already, 1-6 family.
Oh, or is it 16?
16.
Oh, I've lost track. That's scary when you lose track. That means we're powering along.
That is. I can't even believe it be 15 or 16, really. I mean, that's how many weeks we've been doing this for. And it feels, it's just so quick. I love it. And because I knew that you were trying a new platform, or we're trying a new platform tonight, I got so excited. It was like I was starting again. Like, you idiot. And I kept getting these little adrenaline rushes all day long. I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then I'm like, oh, I must be typing into my device.
Well, let's hope we've got the same excitement at episode 394.
Well, look, I think we will. You know, because it changes. It's not like we're reinventing. Well, we are reinventing the wheel. Speaking of the wheel,
let's hit it. And for everybody who's watching in our live audience, you will actually see a big version of the wheel this time, which is really exciting.
It is indeed. Oh, did that work?
Nope.
Oh, okay. That's not part of the plan. Let me try that again. Oh, I forgot to press that bit. Okay. Now I need to find.
Next tab.
Thank you.
Right. There she is.
Look at that. Seamless.
Look at that. Look at that.
Wonderful. Are you ready?
We are professionals.
Completely. No IT experience required in this household. It's very helpful though. Okay.
All right, spin that shizzle. Let's see. Be kind, spirit.
Oh, I just had a rush of adrenaline then. Growing.
Ooh, nice.
Now I had a little spin I always have a little spin earlier in the evening, and I spun up, and growing actually came up earlier. So we were destined to get this.
So does that mean you're pre-prepared?
I may have a spiel already. I was looking at motorcycle boots that have an inbuilt height thing, and you can actually get 2.5 inches taller by wearing these motorcycle boots.
Oh, nice.
I'll be able to see the dashboards of so many cars now when I'm riding my motorcycle.
Yes.
It's fantastic. Right. Now I need to work out how to go back. I stopped sharing.
There we are. We are pros. We are pros at this. All right. And if you are listening on the podcast and you have no idea what the heck just happened, we have a wheel that we actually spin, and you can see it. It's very colourful and pretty, and it has all of our topics on it. and then we just talk about it, or we just continue to talk like this until we know what we're going to say. And
it's called in TV stretching.
stretching. So growing, well, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? It has a lot of different connotations.
Yep, could mean anything.
It could mean anything.
Some of us have definitely grown bigger during the last few months without the gyms, without daily regular exercise.
Are you picking on my COVID chin?
No, I actually think it's lovely.
My COVID chin and COVID belly. Actually, it's settling down a little bit, which is interesting because I'm growing emotionally and letting go of some shizzle. So that's an interesting thing too about growing. Yeah. So where will we start?
Oh God. Well, when I first saw that word, like the second time around, I thought to myself, what sort of growing like are we? Because there's so many different definitions. For me, growing means becoming more aware of myself. Yeah. Because the more aware I become of myself, the better I understand my reactions to things, which means that I get less reactive toward things, which means that I'm growing. Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is that every experience we have and every minute of the day is growing us. And we also have the choice as to whether we want that growth or not. So sometimes
we push it away for the longest time, and then it just keeps coming thicker and faster until we get it.
It does, yeah. But we're not always ready for the growth that's coming along, and that's okay too. I've become okay with that because a lot of the times you're just really mean to yourself about shit, I've had that lesson for the last 3 years. When am I going to get it? It's like when I was really struggling financially and really in a poverty mindset for like 4 years. I'm like, why is this happening? And then when I got out of the victim mindset, I'm like, why can't I change this? And why am I not growing? And, it's just one of those things. When the time's right, it happens. But growth is always present there should we choose it.
Yeah. You raised an interesting point then about when it's there, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen, basically. And even though we might be on that spiritual path where, I just want to get this mediumship, or I just want to get this modality, or I just want to get this down, and you get so mean with yourself about how stupid you are, or how incapable you are, or all these things because you're not getting that particular thing. That doesn't mean you'll never get it. You'll never understand that modality. It just means that right now you're not in that right frame to be able to receive it properly. And I get this a lot with when I'm doing readings for people, and they say, oh, I'd love to be able to be a medium, but I'm so scared of ghosts. And I'm like, well, you're going to have to kind of let that shit go. But they don't always appear with a sheet over them, or like the girl in the ring, or, or the grudge, So but it's a lot of, the growth for me is around, if I find that if I have to push to get something, I know that it's not the right time. It doesn't mean that it will never happen. It just means that it's not the right time. So back off, take the expectation away from it, stop getting the shits with myself. And it just comes so easily and effortlessly when it's supposed to come.
Absolutely. And it's really a perfect everybody's in their own perfect position and path and perception of everything. We were talking before about someone who doesn't really perceive that mind-body connection yet, and can't perceive that disease would be anything to do with thoughts. And that the growth of that person is just as valid as the growth of any other person, no matter what we're believing, because we're all right and we're all on the path that is serving our particular lifetime. And so when we think sometimes, and I think this is often in the spiritual world, unfortunately, it's getting better, but there's a lot of judgment
Oh gosh, yeah.
On people who aren't growing. It's like, but you've had all these life lessons, why aren't you growing? But people are growing in their own way. And just because they don't all of a sudden agree with our philosophy or someone else's philosophy doesn't mean that they're not expanding and growing in their own way. And I think there needs to be acceptance and
back off and chill out.
And that kind of starts with acceptance of ourselves, don't you think? Love and acceptance of ourselves, because you and I both see, other people that we'd like to aspire to as well, and think, oh, why can't we grow that fast or whatever? But we're doing the best we can and growing at our
the perfect rate for us.
Chosen rate.
Actually, interesting that because something when you were just talking, I'm like, oh my goodness. You know how when you're with that perfect partner and you think, oh, this is it, I'm going to love them forever. And then something happened and you split. I had the absolute joy of speaking to my first boyfriend January last year. I think it might have been. I can't remember now. Might have been. Might not have been. Some time ago. Some time ago. And the other day.
in this lifetime.
Yeah. And he was my boyfriend and my first love for 16, 17 years we were together, a very, very long time. So and I couldn't ever imagine life without him in it. And I loved him deeply for what I was capable of loving at that point in my life. But when he reached out to me a little while ago and I said to my husband, oh, he sent me a message like, what do I do with this? Are you okay? Because, all of my childhood memories have got this person in it because he was around for 17 years. You can't really fall off a skateboard and not have a memory of him in that skateboard moment.
Yeah, yeah.
And when he started talking to me, and Terry was completely okay with it because, we have no secrets from each other. And when I started talking to him, I thought, oh my God, this is why it was never going to work. This is why you did what you did. This is why I did what I did. This is why we split. Because he said to me, oh, you lost me at birth chart. I'm like, dude, I haven't even got to mutual receptions or houses or what?
Yeah.
And so I was blowing him apart with tiny little bit of astrology knowledge because I was trying to work out why he's stuck in this rut that he was stuck in. So I went to my go-to book, which is, numerology, astrology, spiritual stuff. Let's call in a couple of dead rellos and see what we got happening here. Yeah. And he was just like, well, that's like way too much for me. And I'm like, well, you knew I did this when we were together, so I don't really understand why now. And then I thought, you know what, I do understand.
Yeah.
He's been shifted and, he was mediocre intuitive, but I think he's got more to give, so, but I think that we had split. So things have to happen to be able to grow, and it's all divine timing at the perfect rate. And that doesn't mean that he missed the boat because, he's not as far advanced in talking to dead people as what I am. He's exactly where he is supposed to be, just that we're not supposed to be together.
Absolutely. It's the same, isn't it, with all of us? We're all on the paths. Unfortunately, sometimes we just get so excited about our path because it's our passion, then we want everybody to hop on it, but they're not ready. And well, it's not even they're not ready. It's not their path.
It's like, hey, Barnett, get on your own path.
It's not their path. And I feel the same way about both of my ex-husbands. And actually, at the time that I was feeling that both of those marriages weren't working out because they both loved me very much, I don't know, there was just this sense that it just wasn't going to go anywhere. And I guess now, I understand that as well. It wasn't going to go in the direction I was going, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
see, that's growth. We grew because now I look back and when I was in the thick of it, I was thinking, oh my God, this is the man for me for the rest of my life. I'm going to get old with this guy. I'm going to have great pubic hair with this guy. Never in a million years. I know.
That's a goal. That's a goal,
I mean,
isn't it?
That's
right?
just what goes through my head. What can I say?
Should I have that on my vision board for my next romantic partner?
Look, you never know. You never know. But it's like, and you don't really get how far you've grown as an individual. And this particular guy, he pushed my buttons on every single level, and I have grown so much as a result of that. So
that's probably why you needed to
to separate and to
well,
go through all that.
You needed to catch up with them as well, just to see that, because here's the other thing: sometimes we don't realize how much we grow.
Yeah.
You have to look back and think, well, there's no way I would have been making these type of decisions last year, or and one of my cards really explains it a lot. And it's the physical life is how spirit expands.
Now you pulled this card for me when you first got your cards, and I'm like, oh, pull a card. You know how we all get very excited when anyone gets a new set of cards.
Yeah.
And you pulled that card for me, and I thought, oh, shut up, lady. What do you know? Just shut up. But it was spot on, because I was actually trying to work out why I have to choose between my passion work and my muggles work. And you said to me, you need that balance. You need it to keep you grounded, or you need it to keep this. And the card just backed it up beautifully. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
But everything in the physical life is what's growing us as well.
Yeah.
Everything, whether it's a person that you're getting triggered by, whether it's the environment, whether it's the shit that's happening around the world, that's growing everybody.
Yeah.
And interesting, let's not dwell too much on the shizzle right now, but everybody is growing differently from the same situation. I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
I find it fascinating. It's like so many thousands of sorority houses, and everybody's choosing one, and it's like they're all just growing then in that way. It's just fascinating.
I've certainly had some surprises with people that I never thought in a million years would even come to the dark side, also known as conspiracy theorists. And they're like, oh, have you seen this video? Oh, have you seen that video? And I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. When did this happen? And they said, well, you have to be informed. And the only way I can get informed is by reading as much. And I said to them, okay, so when you read a lot, there's a lot of information out there. And some of it will be the truth for some people, and some of it will be not the truth for other people, and it will all be your experiences, your life lessons, what you're here to achieve this lifetime, and your ability to process the information going in. That doesn't mean that the people that don't see this truth are wrong. That means that they haven't experienced that, or are not seeing it from your viewpoint, or just see it completely differently. It doesn't mean they're wrong. But you have to use muscle testing. You have to trust your gut and your throat and everything about your body that tells you whether something is correct or not for you.
At the time, and depending on your growth, you see.
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, there could be, so for instance, with the situation of that person we were talking about before, there could be proof in a book of something that will help it.
Yeah.
I could do a muscle test and say, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
He could do a muscle test and it won't be true for him.
No.
So it's really, it depends on the level of people's growth as well, isn't it? And how they actually react. And that's the other thing with growth too. Are you a victim to circumstance, or do you see everything that happens in the physical life as an expansion of growth and spirit? Because that's when the growth speeds up.
Well, that's exactly right. When I noticed this with myself, when I stopped being angry about all the things that were happening to me, when I was in my 20s, and a lot of stuff was happening to me in my 20s. Just ask me, I would have told you. My 20-year-old self would have told you. But then I realized at some point that no matter how angry I got, the people that were contributing to that situation didn't give a shit. They didn't care. So I was the one that was getting bitter and resentful and more angry about situations, and I wasn't letting it go, and it was just not a nice time in my life at all. And it was me and my mindset and my wish to grow beyond the bullshit labels that somebody else gave me and the bullshit upbringing that I had and everything that was going on in my life. I chose to decide, okay, well, I can stay here and I can continue on the merry path and be exactly like them, or I can see what I'm actually made of and release all that, shake it off, as you taught me last week, shake it off and just get on with it. And I chose to shake it off and get on with it. And I can tell my story of my childhood or any abuse or trauma that I've been through. And I say it with a smile on my face because I don't live there anymore. And that's fucking super exciting.
Yeah.
And it doesn't impact me anymore. And that is super exciting as well. So that's for me, total growth and
that's big growth.
Yeah. And when you and I work with people and they say, you know, I probably should get upset about this, but I don't. Or they're smiling when they're telling their story, and you know, other people might cry or think, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, yes, baby, you kick that goal, you get there.
That's
because it's growth and
it is.
And even just pretty.
And just those aha moments or those change of perceptions, it's growth as well. It's really, really interesting. But sometimes when we're resisting, when we are in that victim or, you know, in that mindset of this is all happening to me, right? Life sucks. I just got this image of, you know, spirit calling you, but to grow, you've got to bring all of that bullshit in and go through the eye of the needle and out the other side without all that baggage. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy.
Definitely not.
But it's not easy staying in the shizzle either.
Well, you know what? That's where cancers come up. That's where resentment comes up. That's where poor choices of partners, decisions, quality of life, terminal illness, dis-ease. So it's not just disease, it's dis-ease. All that sort of stuff comes when you don't want to or incapable or don't know that you can grow and grow beyond, you know, the best roses grow in the most shit. Now, you can stay a little rosebud or a seed down in the ground if you like and stay neck deep in shit, or you can actually rise above and look for the sunshine in every situation and then grow into a beautiful big bush. So
absolutely. And a lot of it's got to do with letting go as well. And just something I want to mention, it may just bring someone a change of perception or whatever. But if you know, so many of us are trying to figure things out with our mind. And our mind can't give us all the hows. It just can't. It just doesn't do that. It's our higher self that gives us the hows. And it's you can plan things, and like we do, we manifest things, we plan things, but it never follows the steps that we would give it. Like it's not that we haven't worked out the hows, we just know why. Right? And so you can kind of think of that as the mind being in the valley and the higher self is up on the mountain, and the higher self sees where to turn left or where the next road is or whatever, and the mind is down the valley going, but I need to know why, and so I'm going to resist and resist and resist, and it's exhausting. And when you get into that really exhausted state of not allowing that trust in spirit or in your higher self, because it's part of you, you're not allowing your whole self to help you move forward and grow, then you do get stuck in that period of non-growth. And you turn really angry on yourself and with life and everything. So
you just give up.
And you just give up. So if anyone's listening and you're going to give up on something, do not give up on yourself. Just give up on the idea that you can figure out all the hows, because you cannot. You can't figure out any of them. All you can do is say, I'm here, this is where I want to be. And this is why. Lay it on me.
Exactly. I was just having a chuckle because you're talking, you know, the analogy about, you know, they can see your higher self can see everything. And I'm like, it's kind of like when I get in the car in the afternoon and I put my phone on my GPS thing and the lady comes on and says, you can save 5 minutes by going. And I'm like, that's my usual route, you stupid cow. Why are you telling me this? And then you put the radio on because I'm hearing her say, do you turn where possible? And then the Westpac helicopter is up in the sky and they're saying, oh, there's a big traffic jam here, there's a traffic jam there, and they can see everything. And my GPS can only see like 10 feet in front of me because I'm always in the traffic jam. By the time she said to me, do a U-turn where possible, you can save 5 minutes. If you go, it's too late, lady. Bumper to bumper traffic. So you get stuck there because I should have just listened to the radio, which is evidently my higher self. So now I just jump in the car and go, right, which way are we going to go home today? And I turn everything off and I just follow my nose. And sometimes there's about 8 different ways I can get home. And I might drive 5 different ways a week because it doesn't really matter, but I always follow my intuition to do it. And it's been really good for me because it's a good way of trusting myself.
Well, that's growth, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not screaming at the GPS to shut up, Mole, anymore. You're not the boss of me. Don't tell me where to drive. Kind of a job.
And that's just the same as yelling at life, isn't it? You dealt me this shit and you better get me out of it.
Exactly right. I know I chose this, but I didn't choose it. It's all your fault.
Yes. And I'm going to figure out a way to get out of it because I know how. Like, yeah. No, you don't. Yeah, it's frustrating. So hopefully some of this banter will be setting off some little ahas for people and maybe their growth, but definitely look back even at last week and see how much you've grown. I mean, I've had a break off socials for a week because I was a bit of a mess last Wednesday, and I've grown just in a week. So it's possible if you just allow it.
Find time. Don't get distracted.
Yeah.
Don't distract yourself with stuff.
That's it.
Yeah.
And Holistic Bliss this month for September are talking about weight management. So if you have a COVID growth, please check out the magazine because there are a lot of tips in there to get you back on track, feeling better in your mind, your body, and your energy. And you don't need to deal with COVID growth.
Exactly. What do you write about?
What did I write about? I wrote about tuning into the parallel reality persona. That is who you want to be, whether that's lighter, fitter, whatever it is in life. So I was just talking about my my program and the first process we go through. So
lovely. That'll be a great read. Is that the same program that you used for when you introduced me to Successful Johnita?
Yes.
Or if you are listening, you need to get your hand on a copy of this article because it is freaking amazing. It took me from being like mediocre to woohoo.
I know.
Literally overnight. Wasn't it? It was like Trish got inside my brain and went tweak, 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 and tightened up some nuts and some bolts or something, and off I toddled, and everything's been bloody roses ever since. And I'm not even bullshitting. It was insane.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's like that was kind of like you'd done all the growth, and there was just like one last little bit of stuff.
It's kind of like I did everything under the top of the soil, right? And then Trish came along and went, just moved the bark out of the way. And I'm like, oh, that just unlightened what I'm doing now.
That's funny. So, and you have your astroscopes in the magazine?
I did. And I wrote an article for this one too, but I actually spoke about in the weight management about the dramas that I went through after I had Xavier, my son, and how dismissive the medical field was about women with body concerns. I actually got really, really sick and I put on a lot of weight and I couldn't work out why my body wasn't reacting the way it was. I actually had a major blood transfusion from the birth go wrong. And that blood transfusion was the wrong blood type. So I had major reaction to that. And that's what set my body issues and my body not responding the way it should have. And it was really embarrassing and frustrating and scary and horrible. And during all of that, I actually found out that his father was cheating on me. Just I had a better, while you're already feeling terrible about yourself.
Well, there's growth for you just when you need it.
I know. But,
and that's the other interesting thing about growth, isn't it? It comes along when you just like, really?
Yeah. Come on. I'm fat. I'm gross. I'm getting hair in the wrong places. I've got postnatal depression. I know he's shagging someone else. But you look, there I go again. I'm laughing because that would never happen in my life ever again. So the growth that has to come as a result of that. So I actually wrote about that because I don't want, I went to the doctors and they gave me antidepressants and said, see you later. Crazy. I wasn't depressed. I wasn't sad. my body wasn't mine anymore, and I couldn't get my head around. I didn't understand what was wrong. Where was my six pack? Where was the bodybuilder body that I've always had? Why did I have this now? Why is it not responding? I actually blew up to almost 90 kilos.
Thank goodness the doctors have grown since then as well, hey? And you wouldn't be, you wouldn't be put in that position now, or they would pick it up straight away. So
yeah, it was just terrible. And I thought, you know what? It's not, I suppose, not the prettiest story, but it's real. It's a real story. And, you know, where were you back then? I needed you to do my fifth dimension sexy mummy bloody thing or something, or get into my brain and wash it out. Where were you, Trish? Come on. Just took your time.
How many years ago was that? I was way under the mud then.
13 years ago. Look, all I'm hearing the excuses. I just needed results, lady.
Oh, gosh. I was working 10 or 11 hours a day in my nail salon and then drinking profusely at night. That's where I was.
Wow.
So I probably needed you to come and save me. I needed some growth.
You could have had some of mine. I had extra 30 kilos worth.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, my goodness.
How far have we come in that time?
I know, right? And even this year, I think both of us have just, you know, we can see our growth this year. And I don't track things in numbers. It's just not my thing. But I track my growth in how I'm reacting to things.
Yeah.
And I react a lot differently now to things than even yesterday, right? Every day's growth for me, but you can really look back on what I was thinking and saying. I look in my journals even from the last couple of years, and I think, oh, gosh, I've really grown.
Wow.
Since then.
Isn't it amazing? Like it has. And I will never stop growing, and neither will you, because A, it's so much bloody fun, and B, if you stop growing, you're stagnant.
Well, you're dead, really.
Yeah.
Because everyone's growing, even if they don't want to.
Some of us go kicking and screaming.
Everyone's growing, yeah, whether they know it or not. So, if you're not growing and not evolving, you're dead. And even then you're evolving, so...
Probably evolving easier.
Yeah, because there's no resistance.
Less self-sabotage.
less mud that you're in. Let me have a look and see how many people are here. And hi, everybody who's live.
Yeah.
Kirsty's been letting go of the need to know. Yes, Kirsty.
Yeah.
Let go of the need to know how.
Yeah.
Just ask yourself why and how you want to feel, but not the process.
Yeah.
Oh, Liz.
You actually taught me something like that recently, where you said to me, how does it feel when you get that goal? And I'm like, I don't understand the question. Yeah, but when you use your feelings, how does it feel? I'm like,
Hey, what?
You want me to feel stuff? Trish, how long have you known me for?
That's not in my vocabulary.
Emotions, feelings. You know who you're talking to? But you did, and I actually used that with something, and it was interesting because I responded exactly how I did not think I would, which was brilliant. So now I've been testing myself to see how I will respond to different things by putting myself in I call it the glory moment. So the moment that I've actually already got it in my hand, and I picture it and I can smell it and taste it and feel it so much that I'm actually there. I can hear the crowd. I can hear whatever's going on. I can smell the donut, whatever it is that I want in my life. Yeah. And I feel the emotion that's attached to that outcome. And it's actually completely different because I'm Virgo dominant and logical and analytical and masculine. So I use all those steps to get my goal, and that works beautifully for me because I'm a strategic manager is what I do. I've never stopped to feel the emotion in it. So thank you very much for doing that crazy shit to me, torturing me.
But even if you don't feel it, there is a emotional outcome for everything that you want. Yeah. Everything, whether you think there is or not, there is. Yeah. Because you don't want something just for the sake of having it. You want it because it'll make you feel a certain way.
Yeah, but I don't join the dots with that. No. And your little exercise that you gave me after I thought you were smoking crack or something, then it was amazing. Yeah. It was really cool. It was very cool.
Excellent, excellent. And, but even, so before that, when you were manifesting just with the practical, you still let go of the house.
Yeah. Because it doesn't matter. I just want
you,
that. I don't give a shit
really,
how it gets there.
because you trust spirit and higher self.
Yeah.
And that's really one of the growth that I've had to have in the last little while, because I was really hung up on the house. Really, and that's why you see me, I'm so driven and I'm doing and I'm blah 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 blah, because I need to figure out the house, and it just doesn't work. The brain doesn't do the house.
No.
The higher self does the house, and the higher self is part of you. So for you to be acting and living each day as a whole person, you've got to trust the house to the higher self, and just work out the whys and the feelings. What do we got? Jess Ainsworth is growing. Raven, you've grown, somewhat heartbreaking. Yeah. Sometimes our heart has to break open.
Yeah.
For the growth.
Is that Raven Bridgewater? The energy feels right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Raven. I just know she gives the most amazing cuddles. She's the brunette version of Cyndi Lauper, and I adore her. And as soon as she said Raven, I'm like, oh, there's an energy I recognize. Yeah.
And we've got Joanne, her grandbaby is listening and learning about growth. Yes, perfect. Yeah, we're all growing. And it's interesting actually with the 2-year-olds and the 3-year-olds, because that's really where we all should be back there.
In that early
and that's what you've got. You've got that curiosity for life. You've let go of the house.
Yep.
And you've got the curiosity, and that's where the trust comes in. It's like, okay, I've put it out there. The universe knows what I want. I know what I want. I'm excited to see how it comes. And that's the curiosity. And kids do that all the time. They're just like, oh, I just want to be this. And all of a sudden they've got the costume and it's done. Oh, I just want this. And all of a sudden it's just there.
Right? You know what? I used this analogy a little while ago, and I use it whenever this sort of stuff comes up. It's when we ask Google for a response. We want to know how to make quiche. So we put in Google search how to make quiche. We don't think for 1 second what Google's doing behind the scenes. We don't give a shit. We just want that quiche recipe.
Yes.
And we have to apply that same logic. Sorry, just feel the quiche, okay? But taste how good it's going to taste in your mouth. But it's the same thing. We've just got to say, right, universe, right, Google search, universe, I want this.
Yeah.
And then I don't care how it comes about. I just want my quiche recipe. And that goes for I don't care how my motorcycle comes around. I just want the motorcycle. I never worry about the house. I never worry about is there enough money for it. It just manifests instantly because I don't give a shit about what's going on behind the scenes with Google search.
But when you do worry about the house, you block it. That's what happens.
Yeah. Google goes up yours, lady.
You're just in total resistance, and that's where I've been as well.
Mind your own business. You don't need to know how it works.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say recipes, because even following a recipe, you still don't know how it all works.
Oh, God, no. I suck at following recipes because I get bored.
But you put it together, but you're not asking, well, how does this recipe work?
No.
You just, okay, I need to put this in and this in and this in, and then it has this big chemical explosion, and all of a sudden I've got a quiche. Woohoo!
Sometimes.
Unless you're saying, how the fuck did that go wrong? I followed the recipe.
See, it comes undone when you do the how. See, that's proof. You might quiche.
You got it. I think quiche is a very good example of growth here.
Yeah.
We need to just let it be. Just let it be. Ask for what you want. And the growth will come in that, seriously. And here's the other thing, you can grow peacefully and elegantly, or you can resist everything and have to be squeezed in through a bloody eye of the needle and
exactly.
And spat out the other side. It's all up to us. I think the adversities I've had, everything's always perfect. I needed all of that, because otherwise I wouldn't have sunk in, and I wouldn't have had the knowledge I've got now and the emotional stuff to back it all up, I guess, of how other people are feeling when they're in there. So when they're in that struggle. So I feel it was all perfect. But other people grow like in a day out of that. They don't take 4 years.
That's what throat punches were invented for. No, the throat punch is a perfectly legitimate reason for jealousy. I saw a lady the other day and she's sitting on a Harley and she had legs that went on forever and they were beautiful. Now,
without the high heels.
And, I've got tree stumps for legs. And I said to her, your legs are amazing. I'm so jealous. I have legs like a front rower. And she was cracking up laughing. And she said, no one would ever admit to that or people would feel into. I'm like, but look at your legs. Like, I'm legitimately jealous of those legs. I have no issue with that because they're her legs. I've got my legs.
That's right.
You chop down trees with my legs. Can't snap twigs with hers.
Oh dear. All right. Oh, we've had some really lovely people show up in our audience tonight. So
Beautiful.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
I hope you've enjoyed our little banter about growing. There's so many other things that you could discuss with growing. That's
oh my God, it's a 4-episode talk, isn't it? Really?
That's really wide open. Yeah. But yeah. So how many more topics have we got to go in this first series?
Oh my
We've
goodness.
got 3 more, have we? 3 or 4 more?
I reckon we'd be pretty close to that. Let me have a little looky.
We had 20 and we've had 2 Q&As.
Yeah. Hang on, we're pulling it up now. Topics.
You can see we're well versed on our stats.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 left. Perfect. So we'll do, that'll get us through to October. We'll do another Q&A as well. So keep watching or listening for the Q&A. If you are listening on, if you were listening on one of the podcast channels, thank you. We've had 100 downloads now. Woo, woo. And if you are listening there, come and join us on Facebook in our live community and introduce yourself and come and have a bit of fun watching us as well as listening.
You get to see all the unedited version of our banter while we're trying to work Facebook out. It's great.
Yeah, that's right.
But we're growing.
I can't promise that we'll have it worked out next week either.
I'd be disappointed if we did have it worked out that quickly.
Yeah, I think so. But I love that the wheel's really big now. Yeah,
that's true. There's some massive positives about it. But your ear keeps disappearing.
My what? My ear?
Yeah.
Oh, is it on my green screen? Oh, there it goes.
I love that. See? I feel like you're only half listening to me sometimes.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, well, I don't think I should give up my day job to be a comedian.
No.
Oh, thank you. You want to pause and have a think about that first? Oh, dear. All right, guys. That's us for another exciting episode. Thank you so much for joining us and for listening to our podcast. Please do subscribe to us on, where are we?
Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio. You can get the iHeartRadio app. It's got some fantastic channels, including us. We're on Apple Podcasts. There's an app for that as well. Google Play app. We're on Spotify, and we will soon be on Audible and Amazon. Very exciting stuff.
Oh, I nearly fell off the treadmill the other day because I found us on Spotify.
Oh, yes.
I know. And I was like, oh my God, that's me.
Funny.
Yeah, apparently when you've got your headphones in, you're a bit louder than you think you are, but that's beside the point. So now everybody in the gym, all 150 people crammed in there, know that we have a podcast. It's marketing. Marketing, people. Yeah. And a special thanks, of course, to our sponsor, Holistic Bliss Magazine. Thank you very, very much for all you do to support our show every single week.
Absolutely. And you can go to holisticbliss.com and check out the latest version. It's all free. Mm-hmm. It's all online and it's fascinating. And there's a lot of amazing people in the magazine.
Including us.
Oh, that way.
I'm up. Am I next to you on your screen?
Yes. You're there.
I'm up here.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. You're down there.
Oh, interesting.
That's why I thought it was your little halo.
Oh.
Look. you have a halo because I'm above you. Oh, that's really cute.
Okay.
All right, I'm tired. I need to go have a sleep.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, for coming along in our live audience. We'll see you next week.
Sure will. Bye, guys. Thank you.